That's arguably the best defense you've played all year. And Ashton went off, had a big game. Your offense was able to produce. Would you just talk about that side of the ball and to be able to not only see him perform like that, but against this defense?
Yeah, I think that we should underscore everything. This is the best defense in the NFL, and they've been doing it week in and week out and been on a roll. And we went into it knowing that and considering how we're going to find our ways. And I thought that Greg and the fellas, they came up with a great opportunity for our guys to go ahead and play free and play that kind of football. We could make big plays and we could make things happen and move the football. And the guys up front came through against a great front, and I was really proud of the offensive line. I think it was a beautiful day to watch Ashton. You can just see what his talent is so obvious to me and to I'm sure everybody that's really watching him. He's just really hard to tackle, and guys just fall off him, and he just keeps striding on the pass one, but on the run too. Same situation. He's done it a numbers of times. It was great to see him have that much space, to do his thing. And but I give a lot of credit to the guys up front for getting that done. We have the one just garbage play on the turnover right. They felt it coming and they rolled into it. And Geno tried to throw the ball in behind the corner that was sitting out there and just didn't get it done. And they get a freaking touchdown out of the play. A huge play in the game, obviously, but it didn't deter our guys. This game for us, and it was really clear this week and last night and in the locker room today, was about how hard we would play and to demonstrate how much we love the game. And I thought that's what it showed, and I was thrilled to be able to say that to him in the locker room. Why would a team that's struggling like we're struggling play like that? And it's because of the character, it's because of their toughness, it's because of their love of the game, and their willingness to just fight no matter what. And that's what happened today. And there's 2 penalties in the game that you guys saw them better than I did from your TV looks and all that. But those are plays that don't have to get called, and they did. And I'm not grousing about that because I've been around long enough. I mean, it happens, but it's unfortunate that that's how this game goes, and good for them and good for the Texans.
You mentioned seeing Ashton the way he played. How important was it to just see him have success for him, for you guys just to see it happen?
Yeah, we've been together long enough doing this. We are of the same opinion. Of course it is. It is important for him to see it because he's been working his tail off, and he knows who he is. And it's frustrating when you can't show and feel like you really can express who you are and what you're capable of doing. And I'm sure people question and doubting and whatever that happens at times and can mount on a young guy and can mount on anybody. But for him to show like that, it's a beautiful expression of who he is and what he's all about. He's been hanging tough all year long, and he hasn't griped about anything or groused about anything. And anytime you've ever asked me, I've always would tell you that because that's who he is. And so he was available for the moments. They opened up the line of scrimmage for him a number of times. He gets the big ball up the sidelines and then finishes it. And not just that Geno hit him, is that he finished the play and made a touchdown just like on the long run. And so that's who this guy's capable of showing us week in and week out. And so we just got to keep working so we can make the space for him.
Obviously, the goal is to win the game, but given all the positives that did happen, is there such a thing as a good loss, I guess?
I've never said that, so I'm not going to say it on this one. I know what happened, and they know what happened too. And we were very clear with intent about how we wanted to play this game and show whoever it happened to be. It happens to be the Texans on this weekend, who we were. And what we're all about and how much we love the game and how hard we would play for one another. And I would have loved to have been playing with them today.
After what happened last week in Philadelphia, you kind of touched on it there, but how important was it for this team to kind of bounce back from the compete level standpoint that we saw?
Yeah, how important? No, I don't know. It was really important for us. It was really clear how we wanted to do it, and that's how we wanted to bounce. Big wins, big losses. They work you. I've said that a ton of times to you guys. They work you, and you have to come back from them. And how do you turn it around and come back next week and show who you are? And I thought this was a great opportunity for us to do it. So I challenged the hell out of these guys to face that and let's go show. And I think that's exactly what we saw today. Unfortunately, didn't win.
Pete, what about that Texans defense makes them the best in the league, as you just said?
Yeah, nobody asked me that. I'm glad you asked. Because I see something in what D'Amico's done with these guys in acquiring, recruiting, however it is, to get guys that really can play the game. This is a really loaded defense, not size, weight, speed wise. They are in terms of their playmaking ability. The linebackers, we didn't see their top guy today, but the linebackers and the safeties and the corners, they don't all have. They're not the biggest. They're not the fastest. They're just terrific football players, and they've found the scheme that comes out of the San Francisco background. They recognize that calls for the ends to play like they play, and they've just played right and recruited kind of and drafted to the strengths of the style that they want to play with. I think it's a really important thing to notice for D. I mean, he's and how they've ever put it together, figure it out, because it's really to me it's very impressive. And so we hold them in the highest of regard, and so to play against them well was I think it's a great statement for us. But they're on track, and Stroud played, well enough to win the game, made enough plays today, and see, Chubb get out there and run the ball a little bit. He's one of my favorites. It was a heck of a football game.
You had a couple 4th and 1s in the first half, and then a 4th and 3 in their turf in the second. You guys have gone for that a lot this year, and you punted in those situations today. Is that defense that you're talking about? Is that part of what weighed into it?
Absolutely. That's absolutely what that was. It wasn't like all the other changes is what was going on. That's how you play when you have a great defense. You kick the ball inside the 15-yard line, and you go get the ball back. And that's just a style that I love, to play with. And when you can believe in your guys that much, and I was trying to remind them, we're punting this ball because of you guys on defense, because I know you're going to keep them back there. And we've had times to do that, and we have done that throughout the season. That's my favorite way to express who we are as a team. When you play great defense and you can count on your guys to make plays, it doesn't matter. You give them the football and you're counting on going and getting it. And our guys came through today, and that's why we made those decisions.
You mentioned your guys fighting, scratching, going at it, no giving up. You're the same guy today as you were in training camps. It fired the enthusiasm. You mentioned Monday, Pete, about this appearing to be a rebuild. Do you want to see this rebuild through?
I would love to. I would love it. It's going to be it's going to be challenging. It's a taxing challenge for us. But I really like this place, and I like this team, and I love working with Johnny, and it's just mapping it out and putting it together and making sure that we bring people in that can really help us and challenge and compete with the guys that we have, and just let that whole process take shape. It's just unfortunate that there's not 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 wins in here that should have accompanied this season right now, and it blows me away that this is the situation that we're in, because I have no space in my brain for this, but maybe it had to be this hard. I don't know. We'll see.
We talked about Ashton. Brock had a nice touchdown too.
Yeah.
As you talk about a rebuild, young players making plays.
I don't want to get into this rebuild thing. Okay, please. I know. Just you said it. I agreed with you. I shouldn't have. Okay. Sorry.
To see
My
young
bad.
players making plays like that, and the guys that you do have, the talent that you do have on offense, how important is that just going forward in the future to have those?
It's crucially important as long as it keeps us competing, and that means it brings out the best in them, the young guys, and brings out the best in the guys that don't let them emerge. And that's the whole makeup of what we're all about, and it brings out the best in all of us. So we're rebuilding with the same guys. We ain't got no other players. We got the guys we have here. We have to continue to build and make this thing happen and come together. Games like this show you why we believe in that, and gives them the understanding, the clarity, and everybody that watches this. And so that's why I like this game.
Last question, Howard.
We've talked about a lot of young players today, but on Chubb's 30-yard run, he gets caught from behind by Max, a defensive lineman.
Fantastic effort.
I mean, would you just talk about when your best player sets the standard of effort like that, please?
Yeah, well, there's no reason to not keep glowing about what Max is all about. He's come through so much. He's had such a journey to get to this point, but he really sees with great clarity his position in time, how he fits with this club and this organization, his effect on the people around him, and he lives up to the moment. Time after time after time. It was a fantastic play. On that same tackle, Lonnie went for the frickin' punch out, instead of making the tackle, and they get about 20 yards. They gave him the chance to make that a great play. I'm not sure about, didn't Max make a play in the backfield that he have a shot at the guy? Yeah, and think about that. He doesn't make the play in the back, gets him off the ground and runs him down 30 yards downfield. Fantastic place against a great football player in Chubb.
Great, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Pete. Geno, you've been singing the praises of Ashton all year, and several times today when he was making big plays, you were the first one there. Will you just talk about watching the maturation of a guy who really looks up to you?
Ashton is, I will continue to say it, not only a great player, but an outstanding human being. And the way that he works every day, the way that he just puts his head down, like we've dealt with a lot this season, but, he's been so mature about it. And games like today are the norm for him. That's what we expect of him, and he had a great game.
You guys were, obviously you had a week off last week and you had to watch what happened. You guys bounced back with a real close game. Just how proud were you of the effort of the team today, just to hang in with a great defense?
Yeah, I was extremely proud, especially of our young guys. Just the development of those guys throughout the season, the course of the season. Seeing Jack go out there and make a bunch of catches, and the way Ashton played today. Caleb up front, getting his reps, and even DP on the defensive side. Man, just those guys and their development, really speaks to the coaches. Really being committed to that. And all season long, like I said, there's been, a lot of things that we wish we could have done better. But what I'm really proud of is just the way that we continue to fight. The spirit of this team, the spirit of the locker room. Guys are continuing to hold the rope, and that's really all you can ask of the guys. And you can see where we're getting better, but it's still not enough. I'm not the guy who really harps on moral victories, but I really appreciate the way these guys fight.
There was a moment today where Caleb was walking off the field, probably made a little bit of a mistake, and you walked up to him and walked off with him. Would you just talk about his ability to be teachable?
I love Caleb. Extremely, great young man. Like you said, extremely coachable. He wants to do all the right things. He's growing, he's developing, he's learning. But up front, I thought he battled his butt off. I mean, that was a really good defensive line they have, and I thought he really competed well with those guys and gave us a chance to go out there and, obviously score points. Wasn't enough, but Caleb has continued to get better throughout the weeks. And, I just try to continue to, preach life into those guys, breathe life into them and just speak positivity into those guys because I believe they're going to be great players.
You just said there's no such thing as moral victories, right? But there's a lot of positive things that happen that in a loss. How would you describe then, if it's not necessarily a good loss, how would you describe what happened out there today?
Man, I think we ran out of time. Hats off to the Texans. They've had a really good season and have a really good team, really good defense as well. But, obviously we want to win games. We don't want to just, come close. And I've never been the guy who just said, oh, man, we came close. That's great. That's not enough. But really happy with the effort of the guys.
What happened on the interception?
On that play, man, I just got thrown away. They had a better call than us at that time. I think we've kind of worn out the roll pass. Those guys, they play cover 2 and third and short. We've got to have an out to get to a run or something like that. We can't run that play, and then I can't. I tried to put it on Ashton. He kind of kept running, and corner made a good play. I got to throw it away and just live to play another down.
That's all good. All right, cool.
Thank you, guys.
Geno. Ashton, it seems like we've been talking about that kind of performance coming since OTAs and minicamp. How good did it feel to finally get that type of performance, and did it feel like you were back at Boise?
Nah, I didn't feel like I was back at Boise, but it was definitely just great to be able to do that. Obviously, O-line, you did a great job blocking up front, and then just great play calls to take advantage of the opportunities out there.
I mean, you could line up wide on the touchdown reception. How happy were you to show off your receiving skills? Now, a pretty good route on that play too.
Real happy. I feel something I haven't really been able to do as much. I've had a couple of drops this season, but I just always kept my confidence up and knew I would get another opportunity to showcase that I can catch the ball.
When you get out wide and have a linebacker on you, it looked like he had you solo. Did you kind of know, like, all right, I'm going to be able to do this one?
Yeah, you as a running back, you dream about that, getting a linebacker out there in space. So that's all day.
We have seen you out there, but it was in camp, it was in OTAs. You hadn't seen a whole lot, obviously, during the year. So when you're able to pull those out where they don't have this on film, is that going through your head?
Yeah, and I think, obviously by the way he aligned, he was sitting inside, so he's thinking that based off all the other routes we ran, they've been in-breaking routes. So I knew I was going to be able to get him based off his alignment.
People will look at your numbers today. How important, though, was it for the offensive line to have the kind of game to give you those numbers for them moving forward?
It's everything. I can't, have the big performances and, the highlight on me without them, blocking up front, and they did an amazing job all game.
You kind of take us through the run. You kind of popped through the line there, popped out, and then you're just kind of gone. What did you see?
Yeah, we're just running inside zone, and everything kind of just we got movement, and everything just kind of wadded up, and then Dylan, kind of drove the dude backside, which gave me the edge, and then just God-given talents after that.
You told me a couple weeks ago in the locker room about just keep pounding it, keep being faithful and waiting for that opportunity to come. Was that really what today was, just a culmination of staying resilient, staying faithful, and watching that happen?
100%. I mean, I continued, to just, pray, trust in God, trust that He has a plan for me and this team. And obviously things haven't been going the way, we wanted it to. I mean, we fought out there, but once again, we still didn't get the result that we wanted. But, at this point, just continue to, trust it and build some, momentum, through the end of the season.
Winning is the goal, not necessarily stats, but to just have this kind of game, like, does it just feel good for you to just be able to have this and have it before the end of the season?
I mean, sure, but I've said it before. I want to win. Like, whether I have a big game and we lose, or I have a bad game and we lose, I'd rather win any day of the week.
Something, though, that you guys can build on, you think?
100%. I mean, this shows us how good we can be if we go out there and execute and, put our guys in the right positions. We can play with anybody.
That's good.
Thanks, Ashton.
Yep.